this this was a really, really good episode. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was amazing. There were some things I was expecting in it, and there were some things I wasn't expecting. So it's always good to have a little bit of both, so you can also please and not bore your viewer. So good job, Rich T. Really good job with this episode because I was entertained the entire time. And of course, despite how things were going, they're going at a nice steady pace. It didn't feel rushed, nor did it feel like it was dragging out too long. We learned a little for what we needed to know. Therefore, I gotta say it was a very pleasing episode to watch. So anyways, let's talk about the obvious stuff. With Cinder. Cinder knows that Salem knows that she's alive. So therefore, for some reason, hearing this, Salem doesn't want Ruby dead. I thought Salem wouldn't want to care about someone like Ruby because she'll be more interested in the maidens and the relics. But instead, it seems like she does have some interest in Ruby after all, because of her, silver eyes. However, she's trying to work her way around this rule by using Neo instead. That's very sneaky, very sneaky. However, it could really come back by her in the butt, not just by Team Ruby point, but also by Salem themselves. Remember that speech Salem was saying how if you were to put your attentions before hers, you're already at lost? That's exactly what's going on here. Yes, Cinder has to redeem herself by getting the relic back, but however, her killing Ruby, she's probably going to put on her first priority list. As you see, what she clearly said, how she needs to do this for Salem, but then she changed it quickly, saying we need to do this instead, so she can convince Neo to work with her. And of course, Neo is going along with it. Hopefully Neo doesn't get fully hurt through this, because you know what I'm saying. Neo's one of my favorite characters. I don't want to see her get hurt, and probably neither do you guys, because she's just so cool. Now, finally, we get to see some nice flashback of Maria's past. And I don't know what's up with this when it comes to anime. And pretty much most cartoons, for some reason, when you get older, you shrink. Especially when you're a woman. I don't know why, but you always shrink. You're at this normal, tall age, and out of nowhere, you're smaller than a child. It makes no sense, but it just happens, I guess. I don't see how scientifically possible that is. I guess it's just an old traditional cartoon thing people still use to this very day. Say, hey, look at that little old lady or that little grandma over there. I don't know who got that from. Strange. But getting off of that, she was cool. Her design was amazing. She was called the Grim Reaper. Nice play on words. She would kill all Grimm. No matter how strong the Grimm was, she was able to easily take it down without any point of struggle whatsoever. Everything was pretty much going well. She was just walking around, just killing Grimm until she met the crocodile. I don't know. In my opinion, yes, she was a faunus, but she also had that Captain Hook attire to her as well. It was a fusion of Captain Hook and the crocodile, which is very, very ironic because the two don't, Captain Hook doesn't like the crocodile. You could say that because he was always afraid of the crocodile. The crocodile took his hand. In some stories, Peter Pan took his hand. But yeah, enough about that. So they took Captain Hook's and they took the crocodile and put them together. I love the fighting style. She was like a pirate, a bandit, And since she had silver eyes, people were after her back then, their client. The question is who the client was. It could have been Salem. This crocodile faunus could have been working with Salem and was out to get Maria during the time. And of course, Maria being cocky, but yet very cautious, really good holding her own against 4 people by herself. Very impressive. But yet again, I did like how the fighting style was with the crocodile faunus. How she said you have 60 seconds before your life ends. And she starts the clock and she starts fighting. So while you're fighting, you're hearing that famous TikTok sound you would hear a lot when you're watching Peter Pan in the theaters or home video or whatever. And I was like, wow, this brought back those scenes where Captain Hook would run away from the crocodile during those times. So 60 seconds were up, and instead her eyes, she didn't die, Spoilers, of course, she didn't die. But instead, it was just her eyes gone. Explained why her eyes were gone. And I have to say, it was very interesting. Brutal. I'm realizing how further and further down the line the show gets. It gets more brutal as it has before. You know, before they didn't show people murdering them. They say, yeah, I killed them. And then volume 3, they show murder. And then now as time goes on, they're even showing blood and who knows, probably decapitation later on down the line because Croc got decapitated. Like, holy shit. Her weapon, though, it was very handy. Those two-handed scythes, and she put them together to make another scythe. That was pretty cool in the way it was. Especially how they attract to each other. Like a magnet is, where no matter where if it's in the right distance of one of the hand scythes, where just out there in distance, she can just pull it back with her other one. So that's handy, really handy to have on her. So because of that, she already said herself, she became fearful for her life. You know, she lost her silver eyes. She can barely see. Of course, someone who spent most of their life seeing and using silver eyes, they would be used to that. They would not be used to fighting while blind. It takes years to actually master fighting while blind. Hell, to do anything while blind. Now, if you were born blind or you became blind at a young age, that's a different story. Perfectly natural for you to try out. You know, you get used to it, you adapt it. Your other senses hypen when that happens. I've seen people who are blind at a very young age and they were able to get used to it at a very fast pace because their body adapt to it. However, when you're older, your body doesn't really adapt that much. So because that, her lying low was very reasonable. I know she blamed herself, of course. You know, she was a noble hero, but besides that, you know, you can't really blame her. You know, that was pretty much the end of her career when you think about it. Not a lot of grown people can adapt when they become blind at a very old age. I'm not saying she was old, but she was to the point where your body stops growing in a way. So that makes a lot of sense. And of course, she had that big legend, a legend so big that even Crow pretty much admired her. So you could say this is the reason why Crow and RWBY are the way they are. You know, they have the hoods. Well, RWBY has the hood anyway. But they wear the scythes. They have the scythes. They got their pretty much their fighting style from Maria. So it's kind of cool. You're having someone who, in a way, made you who you are today. That was pretty cool to see that. And then finally, they made it to Argus, and it was good seeing John in the game again. I was wondering where were they, and I forgot that they went straight into town to deliver to people. So yeah, I just completely forgot about them in a way. And surprise, surprise, we get to see John's oldest sister. And like, wow, finally, I always knew we were going to see John's sisters. However, I thought we were going to see, for some reason, I thought we were all going to see his sisters all together, just picking on John. That's what I really wanted, all 7 of his sisters. No, it's just one, and I guess one's enough. Now, after this, I was kind of shocked reading the comic section. Some of the comics, not a lot of them. Some of them were kind of triggered about this, about John's sister and her relationship with her wife. Like, what's there to be triggered about, really? Like, there's just nothing to be mad about here. There are those kind of relationships in the world. They're real. They live among us. They go to the stores. They eat. They go shopping. They pay bills, you know, and taxes. They're normal people, you know? And of course, they're only shown in that world. There's nothing wrong with it. I guess what people are getting mad about is how they're showing it in your face. But even then, it's not showing your face. It's not. It's just who they are as a person. So that's what I want to say at the end of this video is, if you feel triggered by this, you need to grow up. You really do. They're not hurting you. You don't need to hurt them. And I'm not just talking about the cartoon characters. I'm talking about in real life. Because if you get triggered by this, God knows what you get triggered by in real life when you see that walking down the streets or you're in a movie theater and stuff like that. You don't need to get mad about that. They're minding their own business, so you need to mind your own business too. That's all I gotta say about that. You know, there's nothing wrong with what happened here. natural, okay? That's who they choose, that's your life choices, and you made your choices. And for God knows, your choices could be just worse, just bad. But that's just my opinion. So anyway, that's all I got for this episode of RWBY. I really enjoyed it. It was actually one of my favorites so far. And I know I say that with when Neo appeared, because come on, it was Neo. This one felt more pace, because the only reason why I enjoyed that episode when Neo appeared was because it was just Neo and the rest of it was okay. But this one was great from start to finish. So therefore, yes, this is my new favorite of the volume of 6. Anyway, that's all I got for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you can get updated every time I upload. Madcrownxox, sign out. I take some Yuki Nicks. Ugh.